I'm Cara, and you're watching my iHeartRadio Ask Anything Chat. Thanks to Most Requested Live and Romeo for having me on the show. My new song is called Tears. Julia from Columbus, Ohio asks, how did tears come together? Well, really, I wrote Tears on a day when I was questioning life's purpose and I didn't really know where to turn. I felt alone and I felt, why was I on earth? And I needed to let those expressions out in a song. And that was my only way to deal with those emotions. I was also experiencing a lot of grief and loss at the time, and music was my way to process it all. Fiona from Fort Worth, Texas asks, what gives you tears? Anything having to do with dogs, stray dogs, injured dogs, abandoned dogs, shelter dogs, and pets and animals in general. It all gives me tears, and I wish they could all just be happy and be in forever homes and be safe. Lisa from Riverside, California. What is your favorite part about doing live shows? Feeding off the energy from the crowd. I mean, that's why we do this, right? Because we want to express our emotions and we hope that other people can feel those emotions in the song. And when you're live, I mean, that's when all the magic is happening. That's when the audience is feeding off your energy and vice versa. And it just keeps going. And it's such a magical, magical feeling. Sophia from Grosse Pointe, Mississippi. What is your absolute dream car? Well, I'm like a car person. I like to switch out my cars now and then. And I like two different types of cars. I like SUVs for my dogs and then, lower sports cars for me. I feel like I've already had some of my dream cars. Like I said, I like to switch them out often. But a couple cars that I would like to try are maybe a Porsche or a Maserati. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I love my Mercedes and I love my BMWs, and Lexus is also good. Fernanda from New Mexico. What is the best thing that has happened to you this year? I think in general, I'm releasing my singles from my album this year. And I think in general, that's the best, right? Because I've been working so hard on this for so many years. So to finally be releasing singles and music from my album, that's the best. Tanya from Edmonton, Alberta. What was the first concert you went to as a kid? Funny enough, that is Limp Bizkit and Korn in the Family Values tour with my family. So what an amazing concept. Family values, listening to Korn and Limp Bizkit. You can't escape that. It's wonderful. Let's see, Vanessa from San Diego, California. If a genie could fix one thing in your daily life that bothers you, what would it be? I would say a little more structure with like work emails and work texts, because, as a creative, you don't want to get burnt out. And there's only so much work you can do in a day until you really need to take a break and regroup, reground, and get all your strength back. And I just wish there was like an easier way to do that. Sometimes it's really difficult to manage, that your stress levels and working and giving yourself a break. So I would say that's one thing that I wish, I could like work on a little more and a genie could help me fix. Donna from Norfolk, Virginia. Have you recorded a Christmas song yet? I haven't, but that's one thing that I would love to do one day for sure. Record a Christmas song, maybe next year. This year I'm releasing my album, but maybe next year. Kayla from South Amboy, New Jersey. Do you have a vegetable garden? Funny enough, I actually have a fruit garden. I live in Los Angeles, but I also have a home on Padre Island. And I have a fruit garden at that house. I have pomegranates, bananas, limes. So maybe adding on some vegetables would be, the next step. Great question. Becca from Albany, New York. What are you most looking forward to before the year's end? I would say more progress on my album. Not to keep harping on the album, but that's the most important thing in my life right now. So being that there's another song coming out this year as well, I would say I'm looking forward to keeping on releasing music this year and just enjoying the release of the album. I would say that's clearly my number one this year. Holly from Southfield, Mississippi. What's a typical day look like for you? Well, not only am I a musician and a singer and a writer and a creative director and a producer, but I'm also the president of my label, and I self-release through that label with a team. So a typical day for me is not only looking at what's going on the musical side, but maintaining the business side, maintaining the business admin side. I do have, people I hire, but I also have to oversee a lot of things. And then taking care of my pets. So my animals, my 2 dogs. So my typical day is music, business, meaning taking care of the label, and then taking care of my pups, my 2 girls, East and Hazel. Those 2 dogs are my daughters, and they are my number one concern. Let's see here. Ariana from Orlando, Florida. What are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? I would say my greatest strengths are always looking on the positive side of things. And I would say my weaknesses are becoming so passionate about things, and just diving into the point where it kind of stresses me out, but I'm still happy, that I did it at the end of the day. I would just say working on my stress levels. That's my weakness. Georgie from Crystal Lake, Illinois. I had pizza last night. What's your favorite pizza? I like extra cheese, and it depends. Sometimes I like cheese, sometimes I like pepperoni and mushroom, and sometimes I like the Supreme. It just depends on my mood. Gina from Chicago, Illinois. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment on stage that you wish didn't happen? Not yet, but I know it will come, so I'm waiting for it. If anyone wants to help embarrass me on stage, just come to a show. Nathalie from Oakland, California. What old TV shows do you watch? Do you prefer a certain streaming service, or do you have them all? I have all the streaming services, so I really just go into which one has the show that I like at the time. And I really like watching old episodes of Housewives, either Desperate Housewives or Real Housewives. So I like both versions, the scripted and the unscripted. I think these shows are just phenomenal. Thanks again, Romeo, for having me on Most Requested Live tonight. Again, my new song is called Tears. Thank you so much for listening. I love you all.